you have a 12-year-old girl feeling like she has to carry around a knife, and there's a grown man going up to her, videoing her, and her sister is shouting, "Don't touch my little sister, she's 12." This is Europe. This is happening in Europe.
Mohammed becomes the most common name among welfare beneficiaries in Germany. And you can guess a whole bunch of the other top names under it are Ahmed. Pakistani brothers raped two 7-year-old boys in a mosque. They drugged and prostituted 30 underage schoolgirls. They cut off the toes of 2 girls who tried to escape. I mean, these videos, you've seen them. We can play some now. And they run up and go, "We're going to slit your throat." You translate, they're like, "Kill you, kill you." I mean, I could just play you hours of this. There's new ones this week. Beautiful white cliffs of Dover, even when Nigel Farage has been out there recently, and here come 3 boats with 50 men on each, and they just hit the ground and go, "Rah!" The backlash is here, and it is just beginning, ladies and gentlemen. In Ireland, in Germany, in France, in Poland, in Britain, in Australia, in Spain, in Austria, and again, many other places, like Japan of all places, people are marching en masse against the UN globalist replacement migration invasions. And this is footage in Japan that now in some areas looks like Islamabad. And I've got the statistics here out of Europe, Japan, you name it. Over 80% of the Islamic invaders never get a job and are on welfare forever. That's how it's set up. Previous waves of Muslim people coming to the West got jobs, ran businesses. This is leftist NGO set up to put them in these no-go zone ghettos and create the balkanization that the globalists have been looking for. But this is just amazing when you see the footage out of Australia, particularly, to see the huge crowds of people that have had enough. Hundreds of thousands marching in major cities in Scotland, Ireland, England, Germany, France, Sweden. In fact, I was trying to get a list today, and it looks like over 15 countries, including Spain. Again, more dramatic footage out of Australia. And, of course, they're being called racist terrorists by the corporate media. The vast majority of violent crime and rape is being committed by the invaders, whether they be from Africa, whether they be from the Middle East. It is a fact. And that's because, again, over 80% of those coming are military-age men that the UN sets up at refugee camps and ships into the country. This is so damning. And we're going to get clip 38 ready. This is extremely powerful information. And I'm going to play some videos that we're going to have some graphic warning on what you're going to be hearing. But you have to understand that whether you're in Germany, Sweden, whether you're in France, whether you are in the UK particularly, where it's the worst, that they have what they call Asian grooming gangs. It's not Asian, it's Muslim, particularly Pakistani. And per even little town, thousands of girls as young as 7 are grabbed, drugged, kept in sex slavery. And they control a lot of the police departments and the councils, the city councils, and they're allowed to do it. And that's where Tommy Robinson came from 15 years ago in his little town when they were going after his family members and trying to bring them into the slavery. So Keir Starmer was the head of the Health and Human Services, Family Services for 15 years before he became prime minister, and he famously protected all of it and didn't prosecute one person. And so that's why you're seeing people get more and more angry in England. That's the epicenter, but it's the exact same policies in Ireland and in Scotland. It is just outrageous. And the people of Europe and the UK have been cowed so far because they were conditioned and trained to be like that. But now it's like trying to hold a beach ball under the water at 3 or 4 feet. When you finally release it, it comes exploding out of the water. So they arrested the Scottish schoolgirls. Her little sister, they were reportedly trying to recruit her and grab her and drag her away. And this is a standard deal. And so she came out to save her little sister with a hatchet and a butcher knife, becoming an iconic image worldwide. And now, of course, they've both been arrested because the ultimate crime is defending yourself from the replacement migration population. Here is clip 38 out of the UK.
You have a 12-year-old girl feeling like she has to carry around a knife, and there's a grown man coming up to her, videoing her, and her sister is shouting, "Don't touch my little sister, she's 12." This is Europe. This is happening in Europe. A snippet from a video on X. I can't show it on Instagram or it'll be taken down. But that little girl has gone viral, and I'm sure there's people wondering why she felt that way. I want to show you a video now where a woman describes one case. This is one case out of thousands that happened in the UK to little white girls, children. It's pretty graphic, so if you don't have the stomach for it, you can turn it off. But I think it's important people know what's happening.
Finally, I would like to read to the House one particular ordeal, just one example of what these children have suffered. I must warn colleagues, and especially those in the gallery, that this is extremely graphic, but we must not look away or sanitise this evil. Sentencing Mohammed Karar of Oxford to life in prison, Judge Peter Rook said, "You prepared your victim, a 13-year-old girl, for gang anal rape by using a pump to expand her anal passage. You subjected her to gang rape by 5 or 6 men. At one point, she had 4 men inside her. A red ball was placed in her mouth to keep her quiet. When she was 12, after raping her, she threatened you with your lock knife. Your reaction was to pick up a baseball bat with a silver metal handle, strike her on the head with it, and then insert it inside her vagina. This is not about me. It is not about the Minister or the Home Secretary or any of us in this chamber. It is about them. Little girls up and down our country whose brutal and repeated rapes were permitted and hidden by those in the British state whose job was to protect them. They deserve justice. In 5 towns, these children and their families may get partial answers. But I have mentioned 5 towns in the last few minutes alone, and there are at least 45 more. In those places, they will get no answers at all. What does the Minister have to say to them? The British people deserve to know the truth. What darker truths does the suffering of these girls reveal about this country? And why won't the government find out?
Now, that's just one case. I mean, there's literally thousands of cases, some cases thousands of girls per town. This is the, quote, Asian grooming gangs that aren't Asian, per se. You could, I guess, say Pakistanis, you could say, are Central Asian, but it's Islamic. And it's not all Islamic countries do this. It's mainly Pakistan. In fact, they execute you for stuff like this in Saudi Arabia. I don't even know what to say anymore, Elon Musk said. Pakistani brothers raped 2 7-year-old boys in a mosque. They drugged and prostituted 30 underage schoolgirls. Just open that X account up for me. I thought I'd send it to print it, but it's okay. Just open that little, thank you. Pakistani brothers raped 2 7-year-old boys in a mosque. They drugged and prostituted 30 underage schoolgirls. They cut off the toes of 2 girls who tried to escape. That's what the royals in England used to do. I'll tell you in a minute. The court found a total of 62 crimes. This happened in Leeds, UK. Illegal immigration continues to destroy the UK. And it just goes on and on. This is just recent stuff. Then you've got the British so-called elites that are just massively pedophilic, getting slapped on the wrist for things they get caught doing, including the cover-up of murder of children and satanic rituals by people like Jimmy Savile. So it's not just the Pakistanis that have this proclivity, and I'm not saying they all do it, but it's something like 80% of the rape in the UK is from Pakistanis. Something like half the birth defects in the UK are Pakistanis. The whole population, though, just a few percent because of the inbreeding. It is bad. And I mean, I'm sorry, you import people right off the streets of Pakistan, places where this is completely par for the course. You import hell world, you get hell world. And the big takeaway is that the attempts to intimidate everybody into not talking about this all over the Western world are over. The backlash is here, and it is just beginning, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to get steadily more intense. And the globalists and the replacement migration leftists, they believe they're going to be able to intimidate and control and dominate everyone, and that they'll then be able to use the division in society, the balkanization, the divide and conquer for control. But they've way overdone it, and it's going to fail. It is failing, and it's going to go the way of the Netherlands and other countries where they are electing hardcore patriot conservatives that are cracking down and deporting these people. The problem is that the countries they came from are trying to not take them back. And here in the United States, Trump is following the Constitution, deporting illegals, particularly the violent ones, and judges keep figuring out new ways to block it. It gets overridden by higher courts later, but then they just override that by filing something new, and then that gets overridden. So it's all about sabotage. So you've got the UK thought police out in mass, pepper spraying, attacking, beating people. Same thing in Germany, who simply try to finally stand up for themselves. Because on average, people in the UK been a pretty low crime rate, pretty docile on average. Not a lot of fighting, not a lot of issues unless people go to soccer games and beat each other up. That's a subset. But now the sleeping giant is awakening. And the NGOs and the Soros groups and the UN aren't letting up, though. They're just flooding more people in, more flotillas of boats coming in every day to the UK. And of course, this is all coming to a head because a UK court ruled, we don't care about all these four-star hotels where they get 3 buffet meals a day. We showed the footage last week. The food looks damn good. I mean, it's nice hotels. And they're just there for years in the town, and they just wander out and rape kids and attack people and stab people. And I mean, I can just show you hours of these people stabbing folks. It's not just the Muslims. It's people out of North Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, East Africa. And these are street kids from the poorest places in the Middle East, in Africa, that make it to the UN refugee centers on the coast, and then they get brought in. So they are the most desperate, the youngest, the toughest, who are a scourge in their countries, many of them,